2023, a new RPG has risen out of the shadows of Bethesda, destined to be the next major RPG. Yet, there is only one RPG to rule them all, one RPG to unite them, one RPG to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them, in the lands of Bethesda where Tom Howard lies. Skyrim. And that's right, we are talking about Skyrim. Not just one of the coolest RPGs out there, but also one of the greatest fantasy life simulators, if you will. Now, the reason why I class Skyrim as a fantasy life sim is you can pretty much do whatever you want in your own little world, as long as the game allows it. So, the biggest RPG trope you're going to, fantasy trope you're going to live, is an adventurer. You are a dragonborn. You go into the world and you fight dragons. But that is not all. You can loot dungeons. You can go to abandoned mines, as you will soon see, to try and find treasure. Or, if you're feeling brave, get out your pickaxe, mine some ore, and release your ultimate fantasy of being a blacksmith. With the Hearthstone DLC, that goal becomes clearer with the added expansion to build your own house. So far you can be an adventurer, a miner, a blacksmith, a house builder and owner. What more is there to not enjoy about this game? Now, one of the reasons why I keep replaying it is I know the story off by heart, and it is still fun and invigorating to come back to, especially in 2023, where RPGs are a lot bigger now and a lot more bloat in the world and a lot more number crunching, whereas Skyrim really doubles down. It has its own little quirkiness and all that, and I can be a hoarder. I can literally steal everything that's not nailed down. I can even read thousands of books. It's a world to get lost in, and that is the best thing about this game. And Starfield will be the next big RPG to become a life simulator, but it will be more spacey, more sci-fi, where other than D&D where you can become, your own little fantasy character, Skyrim is an RPG for that. You even with the Creation Club, which is like paid mods, which we'll get to in a later B-roll, you can fish now. It's a free mod, and I will attempt to fish, and I really, really suck at fishing. And if you, like me, have a frustration with fishing, you can pretty much just attack the local hunter, steal all their loot, and if no one is around, you're sorted. Now, the problem with stealing and killing is GTA style is there's no bounty or morality system. You're not going to get in trouble for being naughty. No, instead, you will just get a bounty on your head, and you can just pay it back after you loot a few dungeons. So money's no object in this game. But there is one crime you cannot commit, and that is, do not kill a chicken. You can be anything in this game: fisherman, survival, adventurous, dungeon crawler, blacksmith, house owner, but you cannot be a chicken killer. If you did kill chickens, then, like the good old days of Zelda, you will be hunted till the end of time. Now, one of the other things that makes this game a really huge fantasy RPG life is just the simplicity and, I don't know how to word it, the simplicity of combat is probably the best explanation, and quirky physics. You're not picking up a sword and wondering, do I have enough stats in dexterity, do I have enough stats in strength to wield it? No, you just pick it up. If it looks good, you wield it. Do you want to run around with a pickaxe in your hand and shoot lightning bolts? Skyrim allows that. There is no stats needed, it's just you can do it, and that is why this game is so one of the best RPGs in 2023 and beyond, because there's no limits. My character, as you're watching, is an archer because I like to shoot things Hawkeye style, but I also want to burn everything with fire, set everything on fire with lightning, and hit people with a very shiny gold sword, and potentially a pickaxe if I can get hold of it. And that's my life in this game, and that's what makes it unique. It's not a predestined character that follows a plotline. This is my character. I want to be a pickaxe wielding, lightning throwing. And I think exploring the world is what I like to do the most. I like to go to new locations, just get lost in the wilderness, fight some enemies, and with the new SSDs in consoles, Skyrim's atrocious load times have been reduced. So you're not going through some load times with really amazing deep character models and lore. You're a little bit more into the action. Now here we get to some combat, which I'm not very good at. Because the pickaxe isn't that strong, I should have done something. But as you can see with the pop-up of light armor, when you level up in this game, it's not bunch numbers into different builds or stuff like that. It's punch numbers, well, not numbers, punch skill points into whatever you're using. So I'm using light armor, so every time I take damage from defense of light armor, I increase my light armor stats. So I then just can put points into light armor and really give me a little bit more boost for wearing light armor. Same with restoration magic for healing, that increases because I'm using it. So I can put more points into that to make it better. But I'm not locked there. You know, I don't need to respec my character and start again. I could just keep leveling up and putting more points. I know in one of the DLCs you get a dragon sword that does allow you to respec, but I think there is like a legendary system where you can reset it. I haven't got that far again. This is my 5th playthrough, so you can really change your build on the fly. There's no build guide, and there's actually no wrong way to build your character. I think I've had like 6 different builds now. I've had Shadows, Assassin, I've had this one where I just really do anything I want. And here I want to just something else that's really cool about Skyrim, and that's it doesn't take itself seriously. There's a little bit more quirkiness to the ragdoll physics, and there's quick time kills, well, cutscene kills like this for critical hits, which are just fun. But you can pick up objects like plates and cups and whatever, and using that same mechanic, you can pick up people that you've killed, and they just float like a ragdoll, and it's quite quirky. And then, like the good old days of Assassin's Creed hiding bodies in a hay bale, you can just shout them off a cliff, and weirdly they just float like a ragdoll. It's quirky, and I don't do it all the time, but sometimes the quirky nature of this game really just makes us giggle, you know. As you'll see me shooting an arrow in a minute and fighting some mud crabs, you know, you don't just hit them and then they just fall over and stand still. They go flying as if they've been hit by a freight train, and that's part of its charm. And the world itself is charming. You know, for a game that is 10 years old, or a little bit old, I think it came out in 2011, and a game that has been ported to so many different consoles at this point, it's a meme, it still looks stunning. You know, it's not next gen level immersion, it's got its own little charm, this little own style of art that you want to get lost in. And I think I play for that, how the world looks. I don't just, you know, play for the content. I play, well, the content's great, but for the art style and the immersion. And as you can see, there's DLCs like Hearthfire, which gives you a home, so you can have a home. There's Fishing, which is a mod. There's Dragonborn, which is a new island, which is really fun. There's Dawnguard, which is now you can take that fantasy life to another level. Ignore the mods, I don't know why I pressed on mods here. You can take that fantasy level to another high and be a vampire lord or a werewolf lord. Both epic. The vampire one has a few little skills you can do to get rid of the sunlight for a brief time, meaning you can come out in the day and absolutely just wreak havoc. Be the ultimate Dracula you've always wanted. But there is one more thing I'll quickly show you before we end the video that really drives home that this game is designed to be a fantasy life sim over than just an RPG, and that's Creation Club, which is paid mods. And if you have the anniversary upgrade, which I'm saving up for, you get a lot of these for free. Now, you've got your standard little armor sets and a pirate DLC, so sea shanties on the Shivering Isles, perhaps. There's other things to immerse yourself. There's camping. I haven't got camping yet, but camping sounds fun. We can have camp. Farming, we can build a house and farm. Fishing, which I've shown. Forgotten Seasons, new dungeon, new story. I don't know what the Necromancer one is. Other Akuros. The survival mode, which I would not recommend. I've tried it and trying to balance cold, heat, food, and all that shenanigans. It really is hard in Skyrim. It adds to the level of immersion if you want to play a fantasy as a really hardcore survivalist and you're really like, you're an adventurer and this is your immersion. It's great for that, but for me it just was not it. I am not picking a fight with survival mechanics ever. But all them Christian Club mods really do highlight that the game doesn't want you just to come in, crack out the story and then turn the game off and leave. It wants you to live in it. It wants to be your home. You know, you're the adventurer, you're the fisherman. You can now spend all your time in the tundra camping, or you can buy some land from the Hearthstone DLC and farm. It's something that I keep coming back to just for that whole point of living, and I'm excited for Starfield to offer that, a place where you don't play necessarily just for the really good story or the really good world, but you play to be absorbed and you play just to have this little fantasy life. And I quite like the idea of having a game where you just want to live a life. And I'm hoping more people get into Skyrim, because it's such a fundamental little gem of a title that's just fun. And with the Elder Scrolls 6 coming, maybe we'll get another depth to the life sim of just living in an RPG world. But I know in this video a lot of you are probably watching because you like Skyrim and you want to hear more people be positive about Skyrim, and I will never stop being positive with Skyrim, because as you see in this little clip of me doing some archery, which I suck at, some of the physics in this game is just wild. You know, especially the critical hits, so you don't realise you're going to hit, or the shouts, which is a form of magic which I won't spoil, but it does feel weird sometimes to say I am shouting at a dragon and it's going to be my friend. Friend's probably the best word. But as well, as you see when I take a mud crab, when I was quickly before, it flies off. Why it decides to fly off as if it's been hit by a train, I don't know. It's just quirky and fun. But I'm just hoping that anyone who's watching this and hasn't picked up Skyrim, that they might be convinced that this is the game for them. And maybe the game that they want to spend some time in just having fun and being immersed in an RPG that's not about just numbers and loot, but an RPG that is about having fun and just being immersed.